this is an Edison Glad Beast mirror match. So I we end up rolling. I end up getting the higher roll. So I go first. My opponent is decently new to Edison format. He has played my Glad deck before, but another one of our mates lent his Glad deck, so we could have a matchup kind of thing. So sometimes the other mate might help. So being Edison, I got to get the first turn draw. I just set a couple back row. Yeah, so then I summon a Demakari. Sorry about the lighting. I should have noticed it a bit more at the time, but I was in the middle of the duel, so I didn't pay as much attention. So sometimes when cards are summoned to that zone, it's a bit harder to see on camera. So yeah, he sets 4 back row and summons his own Demakari. It's turn, so now it's my turn. I look at my back row, then I draw. Just having a look. Yeah, I am about to summon Prisma. Then he Torrential Tributes, so I'm unable to go into the Gonzalez combo. No, I do Solemn Judgment that. I need to remember. So yeah, I Solemn Judgment. So I pay half my life points. It's a steep cost at the beginning of the game, but to potentially go into Gonzalez, that's really powerful. I know he still has back row, so he negates that, negates and destroys the effort by using the Chariot there. So it's kind of like the Glad Beast equivalent to Solemn Judgment back in the day. So yeah, unfortunately I don't get to make Gonzalez, and I just check a ruling because I couldn't quite remember if Prisma was cost to send or not, but it doesn't seem to be cost, so kind of thing. So it's still destroyed and negated. Then I just check my back row, and then I wait for then I set one. So now my opponent draws a card. I can see in the camera that it's Wobaku, but I didn't know it was Wobaku at the time. Yeah, kind of thing. I think he's about to go into his battle phase in a second. Yeah, he shrinks. He probably should have shrunk in damage step, but I don't really have a counter to that at that time. So yeah, I lose my Demakari. Then he summons. Yeah, then he's able to do one of the Glad Beast's major mechanics of when they do damage, they shuffle themselves back into deck at the end of the battle phase and special summon another one, and then they gain effects. So now he has a Lucari with 2500, with 2100, but I bottomless trap hole the Lucari. So now neither of us have anything on board. He's still definitely up in life at this stage, but it puts us a bit more even. I've got slightly less cards on the field, but I can also hopefully either bait out a back row or do some damage and start comboing. Yeah, he Wabakus, so I think I still technically get monster effect. I just forgot at the time, because even though I don't do any damage, it's still technically battled. So yeah, he shrinks me again. He didn't really need to since my monster only had 1600. But I guess it does me more damage, kind of thing. We'll see if that affects really later on in the duel, because that could have been a good card for him to hold for later. But again, I'm pretty low on life points at this point, so I'm drawing, but I do top deck the Brain Control, which is really good against the Glad Mirror match. So I take control of his monster. Then I have Bestiari already in hand, so I could make a Gonzalez. Unfortunately, it won't pop anything, so it's not as prevalent, but still 2400 and just being able to cycle those Glad Beasts is really important. So I attack, and then end of battle phase, I summon 2 Glads back out. So which ones do I end up summoning back out? I think I check my grave, kind of thing. I think I might go for Aquari or a Demakari. I might go for the other Demakari in deck. And I go for... I go for 1600 guy, I go for the Demakari, and then I go for the Quarry. So yeah, and then I use a quest to add. I add back, I think, a Demakari, Heliclinos, which is a spell and trap negate, but you have to discard from hand. So a little bit like a magic jammer / trap jammer kind of thing. So it has to discard from the hand, but it's 3k, which is pretty big. It's one of the Glad Beasts, though, that don't shuffle back in when it attacks and specials a few out, but it is one of the end boss monsters kind of thing of the deck. So then I end my turn, so my opponent draws for turn. They tried a heavy storm, but I think I end up negating with Heraclinos. I decide, and then I go, yeah, I'm going to negate. Like, having the extra monster in hand is still good, but I thought my back row is probably better to keep. He just sets one to defend his life points. I draw into my other Demakari. I attack into his face down Demakari, and then just attack with Heraclinos for 3k. So now we're both pretty low on life points. So I've got the card advantage, so I'm seeming like I'm in a pretty good position. Like, really at this point, I don't think there's much he can do with 0 cards, even in Edison, against a spell and trap negate. And I get 1 card back to hand, kind of thing, because there's no like Regeki or Darkhold in this format, so that kind of thing. But I think he put in the life points wrong here, so yeah, there was just a glitch on Neuron where we accidentally depleted by 1 life point. I don't actually have it on our life point calculator up here, but on Neuron it did, so it was a pretty funny interaction, kind of thing. And yet now my opponent's turn, they upstart. I decided to negate it because I just don't want him to get the extra card, even though there probably wasn't much he could have gotten. With that, it's just like, now he has no cards, I know I don't gain the life, but yeah, I think we're just checking if I still gain the life, because we weren't quite sure. Find out that I don't gain the life, kind of thing. I do Test Tiger, just try to go for the big plays. He's pretty much dead if I attack with Heraclinos anyway, but I just want to go for the flex here, so what do I end up summoning? I end up going into, just Lucari, Laquari, so now just go for game, and then we move to game 2, so we're just shuffling back up for game 2. So now, my opponent goes first, kind of thing, so and now he's getting a bit of help from the person who created that other Glad deck. Like I said, my opponent has played Glad a little bit, but isn't as experienced in the format, kind of thing, so I hope he will learn a bit more about the format, which is good, kind of thing. And experience comes with time. I've played the format a little bit, more than he has. Haven't played it heaps, but I like sometimes some of the retro Yu-Gi-Oh. So yeah, he sets 5 passes, so that's pretty intimidating. No monsters, but yeah, it's intimidating facing down 5 back row. I don't have Heavy Storm though, or then that would be pretty pog for me, kind of thing. He bottomlesses, so, and then I hit my body, so. He can't destroy that. I do have to take 15, but I wanted to keep the card on field, kind of thing. So I do the Glad Beast stuff of getting advantage by attacking. So I do attack, and he Mirror Forces. Still not sure if it's the best decision. I would have thought it would have been better to hold off, but I guess if I could get a Bestiary on field, it would pop. So yeah, now he normal summons in a quest. I actually do bottomless. He does an epic move where he shrinks his own monster, so it actually is under bottomless. So it's under the attack of bottomless, so I can't actually bottomless it, so that's an epic move. Then he attacks me for less damage, but again, he bypasses that bottomless, and then he can shuffle it back into the deck anyway, kind of thing. So, then he goes into, I think he goes back into Laquari. So person helping him looks at the 2 back row, and they're just deciding. Okay, he goes for Jar of Greed, so he can draw 1 before summoning, kind of thing. And then I think he goes for a Laquari, if I remember correctly. So, just looking for through deck. And then Laquari with 2100, so that's pretty intimidating. Glad doesn't really have any main deck stuff that can beat over it. You've got to like have a shrink or something. Shrink and a monster or something. So I do have brain control again. So brain control's been very powerful for me both games, kind of thing. It's lucky I drew it, or I probably would have been in a lot worse position. Then I just special summon Test Tiger, and then I shuffle it off, and then I special summon. Yeah, I'm just thinking of what to special summon. So then I go for Bestiary to pop his last back row. That is pretty risky. Probably in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have. Even though it was a Starlight Road, so it didn't really matter. If he had a bottomless, that could have like crippled my deck because Bestiary is at 1 in Edison format. So, and it's the only way to like make Gonzalez, like kind of thing. But yeah, so now I attack with it, and then I'll get out Quarry to add Demakari. And then I set 2. So he draws for turn. He normal summons the Quarry. He attacks, I shrink it, so it's less than my quest. Yeah, and then he takes the damage. Yeah, so now he's just thinking before ending his turn. Oh no, I'm thinking battle phase. So yeah, I shuffle it back during battle phase for my own Quarry with 2100 kind of thing. So has big attack. I only actually own one, even though it is at 3 in the format. So yeah, I have to be very conservative with my Quarries. So yeah, I summon a Demakari. I think I just try to go in for big damage. No, that's not quite game kind of thing. Or is it? No, it's not quite. And then, yeah, I only shuffle the Demakari in. Yeah, so now I'm just finding what monster I want to summon. And then, yeah, I'm still having a look. And I go for the one that banishes from grave, so he can't bring back the Quarry with Demakari. So yeah, then my deck's cut, and now it's my opponent's turn. He sets 1. Yeah, he's just thinking. So they're just thinking. So he ends up deciding to search. So he'll go for Keita. Yeah, he goes for his own one of the banished one that I have. And he just summons it. So I think he tries to beat over mine because it has less defense than his attack. So then he can tune out. But I have the chariot to negate. So that kind of leaves him dead unless he has any live back row, which he doesn't. So then I just go with Quarry for game, or Demakari and Quarry for game. Yeah, so that's the Glad Beast mirror match, Edison format.